Alright everybody, welcome. It's a gray and dreary day out. So what better day for a rant video than a gray and rainy and dreary day? I'm joking. I'm not going to rant too much, but I am going to rant a little bit. Now, those of you who follow the channel, it's probably no shock to you that I love Gibsons. I love them, love them, love them. If I could own 100 of these, I would. These are my favorite guitars. These and Fenders, right? But what you probably think about the kind of guitar that most suits me is that it's probably an SG. And you'd be wrong. You'd be dead wrong if you assumed that my favorite kind of Gibson guitar is an SG. You'd be so super dead wrong. My actual favorite guitar, my unicorn, the one I really want to own, is the Les Paul Standard. But you know what? And this is why I'm making this video. There's a couple of reasons I'm making this video. The reason that this is the main thing that this is the main point that I want to make. And I think this point is relevant to people because I see this question, I get asked this question over and over and over again. I see other people on YouTube who get asked this question over and over and over and over again. And the reality is that the question we get all the time, us guitar content creators, is what's the best guitar I can buy? How can I best spend my money on... I have X amount of money. What should I buy? And here's my answer. This is the conclusion I've come to after nearly 4 years now. I have owned well over 100 guitars in the last 3 years. Well over. I have bought and sold so many guitars, it's mind-boggling to me. I look back through some of my pictures and look at some of the guitars that I've owned. And the one that I have never successfully gotten to is the Les Paul Standard. Like, I want a Les Paul Standard in such a bad way. I've wanted one since I was a little kid. And if I could walk into a store right now without thinking about it and drop $4,000 on a guitar without thinking about it, without having to give up any of what I have now, because, don't get me wrong, Les Paul Jr., bitchin'. Awesome guitar. Love it. You probably have to pry this one out of my cold dead hands. SG Standard, love this guitar. Again, probably have to pry that out of my cold dead hands. This is my new 2015 Les Paul Special. So I have now 3 2015 Gibsons, and I really like the necks on these guitars. I really like the extra width on the neck, and I would like to get more of these 2015 guitars. These are fantastic, and more video about coming why I think this 2015 range is so fantastic. But here's the point. Right now, if I had to choose one or the other, I could have these 3 awesome guitars. Like, you could have a shitload of fun with 3 guitars. There's not a day that goes by that I don't feel like I have one mood or the other, and I can't pick up one of these 3 guitars to satisfy that mood. Because, as we all know, different guitars make you feel and play differently, and each of these 3 different guitars achieves just that. Now, I could have all 3 of these, and this amp, or one Les Paul Standard, and no amplifier. Alright, so you get to see my ugly mug in the video after all. Anyway, I just thought, I was editing the video, and I thought at this point that I should break and say that for those of you who are going to accuse me of trying to sway you to buy expensive Gibsons, I have done exactly this same thing in the past with 3 Classic Vibes guitars. For those of you who have followed me for a long time, you'll remember the first time I got my first Gibson SG. I then later sold that guitar for cash. I took all the cash that I got from that one guitar that I had at the time. So that was my budget, $1,000 that I got from that guitar. I took all that money that I got, all that cash that I got from that guitar, that I paid nearly the same money for it the year previous, and I went and bought 3 brand new Classic Vibes Squires. And if you poke back through the video timeline, you'll see that that's exactly what I did. So at the time, my budget was only $1,000, and I began to think to myself, I can have way more fun with 3 guitars, 3 really rad guitars. And if your budget is only $1,000, I would tell you 10 out of 10 times, don't go buy an American Standard Stratocaster. Go buy 3 different Classic Vibes Squire guitars. You'll be way happier. If you get them set up properly to the way you like to play, you will be 100 times happier. If all you have in the world to spend right now is $1,000, don't go spend it on the most expensive Fender that you can get for $1,000. Go buy 2 or 3 Classic Vibes Squires, and you'll be 1,000 times happier, because a couple of years down the road, those now carry a really good reputation, which means that the resale value is going to hold up. And so that's all I was trying to prove with these 3, right? This just happens to be my budget now. That's all I was trying to prove with the Gibsons. That just happens to be my personal budget now. That's what I've worked up to. My personal budget now for guitars is about $4,000. So the point I was trying to make is that at my budget, I'm still going. Like the SG Standard is the budget guitar, right? Like the Gibson SG Standard is half the price, generally, of a Les Paul Standard. But every bit as fun a guitar to play, and every bit as great sounding. You know what I mean? No, it's not a Les Paul, but it's an awesome guitar. So all I'm really trying to say, without carrying on for too long, is that whatever your budget is, don't sink it all into one place. Try to strategically place your budget in areas that give you options down the road, but also give you options wherever you're at right now with your playing. So whether you're in a band or whether you're just like to have fun at home, like if you're in a band, you're probably playing different genres of music, so it probably benefits you to have more than one guitar than one really good guitar. The other thing is, multiple guitars for failure's sake alone. Something your string breaks, you grab another guitar, right? And especially if you're a young musician going around playing at your local club, things get bashed up. If you have $300-$400 Squires, it's not going to kill you, right? Like it's not going to burn you when those get all banged up and stuff. So if my budget was millionaire, then yes, I would have a handful of $10,000-$20,000 guitars, but I'm not. But if that's your budget, if you're a millionaire watching me, and I doubt that, then obviously what I'm saying to you is of no consequence to you, because it doesn't matter. You can just buy whatever the hell you want. But for those of us on a budget, and I have been on that $1,000 budget, and if you poke back through my videos, you will see. So when I see people talking about how should you best use your budget, well, the reality is no one can tell you how to best make use of your budget. But personally, I cannot help but look in retrospect now, because this has already occurred, right? I mean, this is something that's in the past. Not too far in the distant past, but it is now in the past. I now own these guitars. So I could either have these, or I could have saved up all that money and all those trades and put all that money towards just one thing. Just one Les Paul Standard. And I'll tell you, I would make this choice 10 out of 10 out of 10 out of 10 times. Quality guitars like this will hold their value. Like you're never wasting your money on a guitar like this. Never. Because it holds so much of its value, which means that if you play it for a couple of years, it's going to hold most of its cash or trade value, which means you can then dump it into the used market, get some cash for it once you've, maybe you've come up with some more money. Maybe you've managed to save up another $1,000 or whatever it is. And then you take one of these and you dump it into the market. You get the extra cash you need for the more expensive guitar you want or the more expensive amp, or you take two of them and you do that and you dump it into a more expensive guitar. These give you options, right? All the way around. So I would say that multiple quality guitars at a lower price point is always going to serve you better than one single super expensive guitar. If all the money you have in the world is $3,000 or $4,000 to spend on a rig, go get three really nice $1,000 guitars and a nice $1,000 amp. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can have three really super awesome kick-ass guitars that will suit three different needs. They don't need to be all Gibsons. That's not what I'm trying to tell you here. Go get three really nice Fenders. Go get three really nice Ibanez. Go get one nice Gibson, one nice Ibanez, and one nice Fender. Whatever your bag is. I guess what I'm trying to tell you is don't put all your eggs in one basket. And I've learned this by just default. Just through the act of doing what I've been doing for the last 3 years, to keep the show going, to keep the circus going here, I've arrived at this conclusion that I would way rather have three really rad guitars than one really expensive guitar. And as your budget increases, then increase what you're buying. And what you'll find is that over a number of years, you're going to end up with a bunch of really rad guitars. And lots of choices for playing.